You've heard this one 1,000 times, right? Water drains one way in the Northern Hemisphere and the opposite way in the Southern. It's a classic bit of science trivia. But here's the question. Is it actually true? Today, we're finally getting to the bottom of it.
So this is the big one. The idea that just by crossing the equator, you can magically reverse the way water spins down a drain. You've probably seen it in movies, maybe even heard it in science class. It's a really cool thought, but let's see where the science actually lands on this.
Yep, that's the one. You've probably heard some version of that your whole life. It's always presented as this simple, amazing fact about our planet. But where'd this idea even come from?
I mean, this myth is absolutely everywhere. It had a famous cameo in The Simpsons, it's a go-to for TV science shows, you'll even find it in travel guides. But maybe the most convincing source, the thing that really sells it for people, are those tourist traps right on the equator that claim to show you the effect right before your eyes.
All right, let's start with that so-called proof you can supposedly see for yourself. We're going to look at how a pretty clever demonstration gets mistaken for a law of physics.
Okay, so picture the scene. A tour guide is standing on the equatorial line with a bowl of water. They take a few steps to the north, pour the water, and boom, it spins down the drain. Then they cross over the line just a few feet to the south, do the exact same thing, and presto, it spins the opposite way. It looks like undeniable proof, right? But what you're seeing isn't physics, it's show business.
To really get why that demonstration is a trick, we need to dive into the real, incredibly powerful science it's pretending to show off, the Coriolis effect.
So what is it? Well, the Earth is spinning, like really fast, about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. The Coriolis effect is just the result of that spin on things that are moving over really long distances. Imagine you're on a spinning merry-go-round and you try to roll a ball straight to your friend on the other side. From your perspective, it's going to look like the ball curved, right? That's the Coriolis effect in a nutshell.
And you can see this effect in action on a truly massive scale. Hurricanes in the Northern Hemisphere always spin counterclockwise, and in the Southern Hemisphere, they always spin clockwise. That is no coincidence. That's the Coriolis effect in its most powerful form, shaping weather systems the size of entire continents.
So, here's the absolute key. It's all about scale. We know the Coriolis effect is strong enough to get a whole hurricane spinning. But can that same exact force really do anything to the water draining out of your little bathroom sink?
Let's bring this giant planetary force right into your house. The next time you wash your hands and pull the plug, what's really deciding which way that water swirls? Is it the rotation of the Earth? Well, the answer is not even close.
You see, the Coriolis force is real, but in the tiny world of your sink, it's incredibly, almost unmeasurably weak. The other forces at play, all the little things we never even think about, are literally millions of times stronger. They just completely overwhelm it.
So what are these super strong forces? Honestly, it's all the boring stuff. It's the shape of your sink, the angle the water is coming in from the faucet, any tiny little currents that were already swirling around in there, even microscopic imperfections on the surface of the drain. All of these have way more influence than the Coriolis effect.
And think about it this way. For scientists to actually detect the Coriolis effect in a bowl of water, they had to use a perfectly symmetrical, 6-foot-wide basin, let the water sit for over a week to kill any currents, and control the temperature to tiny fractions of a degree. Your bathroom, let's just say, is not that kind of lab.
Okay, so knowing what we know now, let's go back to that tour guide at the equator. If the Coriolis effect is way too weak to work in a small bowl, how are they pulling off this magic trick so perfectly every time?
It's pure sleight of hand. As the guide pours the water, they're giving the bucket a subtle, hidden little push to get the water swirling in the direction they want. Then, when they cross to the other side of the line, they just give it a little push in the opposite direction. And when they're right on the line, they just pour it in carefully, straight down the middle, so there's no swirl at all. It's a performance, not an experiment.
And this really puts it all into perspective. The tourist demonstration happens over a few meters. The real Coriolis effect, the one spinning hurricanes, operates over thousands of kilometers. They're not even in the same ballpark. They're not even playing the same sport.
So just because it can't spin your bathwater doesn't mean the Coriolis effect isn't a big deal. In fact, it's one of the most fundamental forces shaping our entire world.
I mean, just look at its resume. The Coriolis effect is what dictates our global wind patterns. It directs those powerful jet streams that airplanes fly in. It guides the massive ocean currents that regulate our climate. And, like we've said, it provides the spin for every single major storm system on the planet. It is a true force of nature.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning.
We've debunked the trick, we've explained the real science. So what is the final verdict on our big question?
And the answer is, well, it's both yes and no. It completely depends on what you mean by water. Are you talking about giant systems like storms and oceans? Then absolutely, yes, the Coriolis effect is king. But if you're talking about small systems like your sink, your toilet, or a tourist's portable bowl, then it's a definite no. All the other little forces are completely in charge there.
So the next time someone tells you this famous fact, you can tell them the reality is way more interesting. The forces that shape our planet are powerful and incredible, but they really don't bother with your plumbing. And the most important thing to remember is this: your toilet is not a miniature hurricane.